many. And Aluxers, getting old is a wild ride where things can get incredibly interesting. Number 1. Your tribe becomes more diverse. No longer are you obligated to hang out with the perceived cool kids, the in crowd, or the peers you believe are going to take you higher up the social ladder. In fact, as you get older, there are no ladders you need to climb. Your friends become a melting pot of different cultures, race, ethnicities, genders, political views, sexual orientations, and more. You'll enrich your... Number 2. No moment is ordinary. As you get older, you start to appreciate the little things. It's like getting a new lease on life, except you acknowledge everything that was already there. You were just too busy to notice it before. The birds tousling to get to the bird feeder becomes better than watching television. Hearing the neighbor's kids scream with laughter becomes a joy instead of an irritation. And even just opening a new jar of peanut butter becomes an extraordinary moment. Things we took for granted gain new meaning. Aluxers, do subscribe to our channel. We love walking alongside you on your journey. Number 3. There is no single truth. Aluxers, we've always been told there are 3 sides to a story: his side, her side, and the truth. But we still call bullshit on that. The thing is, we all see life from different perspectives. So as an example, a couple fighting would see the situation differently. There would be her truth and there would be his truth, and both are ultimately the truth. As Oscar Wilde said, the truth is rarely pure and never simple. The older you get, the more you realize that the truth has many gray areas, so get your color palette ready to embrace all the shades. Number 4. You can afford to eat ice cream for breakfast, but don't because you're an adult. Remember when you were a kid and you would make up these crazy scenarios in your head? Imagine the mountain was made of ice cream and jelly beans and your bed was a squishy chocolate cake with buttercream icing that you could just roll over and bite anytime you pleased, and that the rivers and streams were filled with slush puppies. When you're an adult, you finally have the money to spend on all of these delectable treats. You could literally eat candy for breakfast and no one would judge. Okay, maybe there would be a little judgment, but the funny thing is, you don't. Why? Because you're a grown-ass adult who knows better. Plus, have you been to the dentist lately? You'll need to mortgage your house just to be able to afford fillings. Number 5. Despite all our differences, you realize we are all the same. Stephen Hawking once said, "We are all different. There's no such thing as a standard or run-of-the-mill human being, but we all share the same human spirit." If you ask people what they most want out of life, what do you believe is the most common answer? Forbes.com published an article titled, "The Top 8 Things People Desperately Desire But Can't Seem to Attain," written by Kathy Caprino. She confirmed the most desirable thing in life is happiness. We all want it. Then money, freedom, peace, joy, balance, fulfillment, and finally, confidence. She's bang on point. So how different are we really? As you age, you understand there's little difference between all of us. Number 6. Your sleep. Sleep, or lack thereof, becomes far more interesting the older you get. You come to a point where you finally realize how much you value your sleep and how important sleep is for you to keep functioning at your optimum. Let's get the elephant out of the room. The older you get, the more you need to pee in the middle of the night. Well, we've said it. Now let's move on. Well, unless you need a loo break, in which case we'll pause. There's a myth that states older people need less sleep, but this has been disproven by the National Institution on Aging. SleepFoundation.org confirms that between 40% and 70% of older adults have chronic sleep issues. Along with the increased need to pee, there's pain, insomnia, sleep apnea, and restless leg syndrome. But before you fall asleep, let's move on to number 7. Shit doesn't just happen. We are the creators of our own shit. If you trace back the history of the supposed shit, you'll finally realize a lot of it is self-created, led by our intents, beliefs, and so on. even things that could have been dubbed as accidents are all part of the learning journey. So your parents weren't speaking crap when they imparted similar advice. Take the quote by John Legend, "Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Even that deviation is meant to be." You could also compare it to a river. In this example, our river takes us to the ocean. That's its sole purpose. But on its journey, it'll experience floods, droughts, ebbs and flows, bird poop canoeists, pollution, and whatever else you can think of. We highly recommend you listen to Why Shit Happens: The Science of a Really Bad Day by Peter J. Bentley, PhD. You can listen to it right here on Audible. Number 8. You realize there's no such thing as karma. What goes around comes around. Karma's a bitch. Karma will bite you in the bum. We're always believing that someone who is wrong or has wronged us will get their due course. Rubbish, Aluxers, because if that were truly the case, the baddies would never succeed. Innocent people do get hurt. Children are born to endure hardship and die. Bad people do succeed. As you age, you learn to protect and fight for those who need that help, like those children we just mentioned. Number 9. You love your pets more than people. In our video, 15 of the biggest costs in life, we mentioned how people are spending money on their pets more than ever before. We quoted the NewYorkTimes.com when contributor Ann Carnes wrote that our pets are, quote, members of the family, feeding them gourmet food, paying for daycare, and throwing them birthday parties. Our pets do give us unconditional love at any age, but as we mature, we find ourselves relying on them even more for comfort, support, company, and friendship. Business Insider confirms that people really do love dogs more than other humans. This was suggested in a study published in the journal Society and Animals, where they said people are more empathetic toward dogs than fellow humans. Number 10. You begin to think about the legacy you want to leave behind. Aluxers, when you're young, this is the furthest thing from your mind, but as you get older, you begin to question how you want to be remembered. Do you want people to remember you as the guy who always interrupted everyone, or the girl who threw tasteless jokes? That's not at all how us Aluxers want to be remembered. So, it's time to start planting the seeds to leave a great legacy. ScienceCare.com suggests doing these 8 things. Write down family traditions. Write down family stories. Write down stories about you. Pass along skills. Write down family recipes. Note who's in your family photos. And start your family tree. Leave something special and meaningful of yourself behind, rather than having a priest who can't even pronounce your name at your own funeral. Number 11. You realize that all those years trying to impress people was a waste of time. And the frustrating thing is, Aluxers, we know this when we're young, but it's pretty damn hard to not give a flying fig, isn't it? But when you're a grown-up, you're finally in a place where you realize you really can't change how you look. So you either suck it up and get on with your life, or you're just going to be unhappy every day, and that's also a complete waste of time. And if we take this realization further, we understand that people who are critical had more self-confidence issues than we did, and others were too worried about themselves to give a shit about us. Like Dr. Seuss said, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Number 12. Your parents. You realize they're only human and tried their best. Aluxers, we are so hard on our parents when we were growing up. We believe they don't know what they're doing or they were too hard on you. You can pick from the million horrible things youngsters have said about their parents. But then fast forward the clock, you're a parent yourself, and wow, life has suddenly become very interesting, and you catch yourself saying or doing something exactly like your mom or dad, and then it hits you. My parents were not that bad, they tried their best. Truth is that most people only realize this when they are parents themselves. If you're lucky enough, your own parents are there to help support you when you go through that intense journey of parenting yourself. Number 13. You can basically buy that item you always wanted. When you finally have a little cash available and you're not drowning in student debt, you can buy that one special item you've wanted since forever. A boat, a camper van, antique dresser, or a painting, it doesn't matter. It's yours now and you deserve it. You've waited long enough, that is for sure. Number 14. You can change. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and we say, to heck with that. You never have to stop learning or growing, because if you resign yourself to the fact that you're old, then Aluxers, you will be old. But as you age and you remain open to new experiences and opportunities, you become more interesting, more approachable, and more fun to be around. Say yes, Aluxers, to all of the experiences. Number 15. Death becomes more normal. Giovanni Falcone once said, "He who doesn't fear death dies only once." We all die, yet it's one of the things we fear the most. But as you grow older and start ticking off things on your bucket list, you get a sense of peace about dying. And as you realize your friends and family are thriving and doing well, you again feel a sense of peace. And as we said right at the beginning, growing old is a privilege denied to many. So enjoy the experience and age gracefully, like only you can, Aluxers. So, what were you doing when it dawned on you that you're just like your mom or dad? We would love to hear that story in the comments. And of course, you stuck with us until the end. Here's your bonus, and we're keeping it purely sentimental. As we age, we learn that real happiness is making someone else happy. Seeing a face light up because of your actions is a surreal feeling, and it never fades. So keep spreading your light, Aluxers. Thanks for watching. We value your support. Leave us a like and subscribe for more videos every day.